So we are here at Tablet Technologies. We have a bunch of rugged devices, and when I say rugged, I don't mean like, they're kind of rugged. These things are full on, like, when I first saw these guys, just to give you a sense of scale, one of these phones was in a fishbowl, like all show, like the whole 2 days. So they're very rugged. So here to talk us through them, we actually have the CEO who's kindly agreed to, talk us through a few of these and the setup. So if we start that way and work our way around,
yeah, sure.
And if you explain, the company, what they do, as well as the devices.
Yeah, sure. So Tablet Technologies has been running for 9 years, and essentially we're all about enterprise mobility, but enduring enterprise mobility that empowers mobile workers. So the devices are rugged, sure, and that means you can drop them and they can get wet, and that's a bit of there's a bit of sort of showmanship to that, as you say, when we had it in a fishbowl. But it's really about devices that are going to last for years for companies. When companies are buying these sorts of devices, they're considering them a business asset. They want to run them for 3 years, sometimes 5. It's not a consumable. It's a line of business device. So that means having a rugged device, but it also means having the backup and service and support and warranty that we provide in the UK, so that they can keep using that device year after year.
And how long is that warranty, sort of by standard?
So it really varies down to what customers want. Some customers are just happy to go with a year. We do 3. We have done 5 for companies. So it's really down to what they want. But it's really about being there for the long term. We do a lot of servicing outside of warranty. So it's not in the way that you buy a consumer product and when your warranty cuts off, that's it.
You throw it away and buy a new one.
And you're used to sort of throwing things away. We're there. We obviously want to be there when people eventually replace devices and go again. Lots of companies, particularly with devices, if they're going to run them for 3 years, they may ask for a battery replacement at some point in that cycle, especially if you're going to run for 5 years. So the device might be fine, but you might want other servicing. You might want to upgrade some part of it or have retrofit something because the business needs change. So it's really about taking that as a long-term project rather than a one-time purchase.
So let's take a look at some of these devices. We have, it's worth mentioning that, these go cross-platform as well, because we have some Android devices here, but it also supports Windows 10.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a full range of devices, about a dozen devices now, split roughly between Android and Windows, covering every size. So from small handheld devices up to larger tablets. So we've got things from 4-inch up to 12 in different operating systems and form factors. Also different features. So some devices have data capture. Different industries might need integrating barcode scanners, NFC, different types of readers like that.
And what are the kinds of sensors that you can fit? Is this, more or less anything reasonable? Or
yeah,
is
we do a lot of bespoke projects, so we can integrate anything. We built into some devices a passport scanner for border force agencies across Europe, so they can actually read passports. So that's obviously very specific to that industry, but it was a bespoke project, and we could approach that proactively with the client and work out a solution. More common things, NFC, barcodes, both 1D and sort of QR code reading. We've done projects with magstripe readers, less common now, but people that might want to swipe a magnetic card for loyalty cards, even chip IC cards as well. So potentially for retail, hospitality, those sorts of industries as well. But anything is really possible.
And what about spec-wise? Because we live, unfortunately, in my opinion, we live in a world where specs drive everything, right?
Absolutely.
Everyone looks at the numbers.
Yeah.
And is that as customizable as the rest of it?
So you're absolutely right. People tend to see computers as something that you buy on the numbers, and particularly in it's a consumer-led market now. 30 years ago, computers would have been progressed by government, military, and big industry. Now it's all about consumer tech. You're replacing devices every year. You're looking for a higher resolution screen or more memory. But for businesses, it's usually not applicable. So some devices have that option. It can be configured. If somebody wants more RAM, then that can be configured. But what we find with businesses is as a line of business device, it's usually going to do just one task, and they would rather make a cost saving on the computer spec and invest in it being rugged and start to see it as a line of business device rather than just a computer that needs to have the latest CPU.
Yeah.
Particularly on an Intel front, the difference between a Core i7 and something entry level, maybe £400-500 just on the CPU alone. If you don't qualify that, then it's an unnecessary spend. And if you do, then fair enough. But it's a smaller portion of the market. Then it's not for everybody.
Yeah, so the ruggedness of these devices also varies, right? We can see like this tablet has reinforced corners. This one is, I'd say slightly sleeker than the rest of the ones here.
Yeah.
So how rugged can we get these devices?
Well, everything is drop tested and either IP65 or IP67, which means as a minimum it could be jet washed. Most devices are submersible. I think what's happening with the design, particularly the last couple of years, is we're shrinking down the visual ruggedness. So this device has been in the market a while longer, and you're right. I mean, it's quite gnarly and quite garish in its looks. And what's happening with devices is that's getting a little bit more compact. Also, some industries don't need it as rugged. So depending on what the use case is as well, then there is some variation there.
And which industries have you found have sort of? I'm assuming it's construction or something to that effect. Who sort of use the most rugged devices?
I think because it's tech, it's really quite industry agnostic, and people are often sort of think, it really apply to an industry like construction, and it does, but it's really about job role rather than industry.
Yeah.
So anybody within a company that's going to be mobile, that's going to be out in the field, that needs to do work on the move, whether that's traditionally paper-based systems that might be transferred to a tablet, then it's really about those job functions rather than industry. So construction does apply, automotive's very big for us, anything in logistics, but it could be anything from retail, hospitality, healthcare, any industry really where people are out on the move.
And one final question, this wasn't planned, I should mention this. Are you willing to let me drop one, like right now?
Yeah, you can drop one, you can throw it across the room if you like. Take a tablet and drop it.
Right, so let's take this tablet and I really hope this doesn't break. I doubt it. So, as I said, I've seen these guys before, and I'm fairly confident that we're good here. But no pressure. So let's go. Chest height. Corner. Have we got this in frame? Right. Let's try not to let this land on. Just pad it a bit. Can we stick a pillow on the floor? Right. Let's drop this in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that fell screen first. And it is. The screen's gone off, but I think
imagine it's still on.
Oh, it's turned off. Oh no.
So what does typically happen is
we're good.
Is that you might power cycle a device depending on how the battery lands.
Yeah. So
there's also a factor of the larger they are, the harder they fall. So
yes.
I'm always quite happy to take a phone and give it more of a throw. So.
Yeah.
Are you ready for a quick spin on the camera?
If we... this is going to be interesting. And there it flies. Let's go pick that up. And it is completely fine. That is unbelievable. It's all a-okay. So I've just noticed, this phone, for example, it has the hardware buttons and the software buttons.
Yeah, I think originally that was very common to a lot of our devices, that we would feature more hardware buttons, and I think it worked well for a lot of people. Maybe if they're particularly gloved hands, then that's useful. I think what's happened is the user acceptance of touchscreens has risen so much that there's less interest in that as a feature, and it sort of seems to be dying off.
And I think we see that with the likes of Samsung, for example, who for all this time have had physical buttons. With their latest phone, the S8, they actually removed the buttons on the front.
Completely hidden, embedded in the screen, And that's really just been that's a huge change in mobile technology, is the user acceptance. Because if you'd have put this into the hands of people as a device to do their work with 5 years ago, certainly 10, there'd have been resistance in using the device.
Yeah.
Now you give people a mobile device to use for their work, and they're quite excited.
Yeah. Brilliant. So, if people want to find out more, where's the best place to go?
Yeah, so we're based in Stansted. We're a UK company. Obviously, we're online, so the company's Tablet Technologies. You'll see us at tablettechnologies.com.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful show.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
All the best.